Racing will start momentarily. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going through some technical difficulties trying to get the iRacing stream on. So just stick around a couple of more minutes. We're going to get the iRacing stream loaded. Qualifying for the trucks has already started. You won't miss a thing. We'll keep you updated. If you're on Twitch, just stand by. And thanks for your patience. There we go. Hello and welcome to Watkins Glen. That looks like Watkins Glen to me. The NASCAR layout at Watkins Glen. It must be Friday night in the Midwest Motorsports trucks. I'm James J, joined tonight by Greg Drace. Hi, Greg. How you doing tonight?
Good. It's much cozier where I am tonight instead of sitting in my truck at Watkins Glen last week. So I'm down in my podcast studio with the air conditioning on, a fan blowing, and a nice cold beer to wet my whistle, as they say.
There you go. I'm glad to hear it. You could probably point with your finger at where you were at last week, enjoying the live racing.
As a matter of fact, the helicopter just a few moments ago flew over my campsite, and it looks like I left a 6-pack of Jenny there. I hope they save it for me for next year.
I doubt it's going to still be there. The engineering crew's got a something to look forward to at quitting time after cleaning up for you. Well, again, Greg, we really enjoyed having you last week. Thanks for making the extra effort to join us, and we're glad to have you again tonight.
There looks like there's quite a points battle between like the top 3 drivers, Ryan Stedel, Enlow, and Cochran there. They're all within like 21 points of each other, it looks like.
Right, that's right. This is the 3rd race to the end of the chase. So there are 12 racers in the chase, all the way down to top 12. So any of those 12 can win the overall championship, and you're right, it's neck and neck for the top 3, but still with 3 races left, I'd say down to even 7th or 8th, Andrew Miller might even be able to pull something out if the cards are played right. You never know at a road course, and then a couple of other ovals coming up. So you never know, but tonight we're going to go road racing at the Glen. I know you're very familiar with it. Have you got a lot of iRacing laps on at the Glen here, Greg?
Yeah, I've got quite a few. I love road racing, but I'm really terrible at it. I mean, my I rating on road racing is like 700. It's quite embarrassing. But I don't race many officials on road. But I do love road races. It's just a nice change. It's it's one thing to sit there and keep turning left all day, but it makes you feel kind of cool when you're on a road course. Just something a little different.
It is a special skill, right? It takes practice with your braking to the apex and lefts and rights, and your orientation, getting all your field of vision right and field of view, and just learning the track. Each course is a little bit different. Learning the camber and the caster or the turns and getting your steering set up.
Oh, exactly.
Looks like, yeah. So the special skill and a big part of it. I don't know exactly off the top of my head where the how many road courses we have, but there are quite a few road courses on the truck schedule. It looks like they're lining up to the grid.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yep. Yeah, what I
And
found with road courses is
I'm sorry, Greg, go ahead.
sometimes what I found on road courses, slower is better. Instead of trying to nail each turn, you just got to get into a rhythm, and whatever rhythm works for you.
Yeah, they say smooth is fast, so it may not feel like you're going fast, but the lap times show that you are fast. So it's pretty cool. Let's see. While we got them lined up, I'm gonna try to call out qualifying. Looks like Brian Meddings is your pole sitter. I don't recognize that name. Let me see if I can find him on the points. But congratulations to Bryce Meddings. Sorry for that. Mark Cochran's going to start on the front row with him. Mark is definitely third in the championship. So starting from the front row, he's got a good spot. And look who snuck into third. Justin Thaler, the Midwest Motorsports guru, one of the founders of the league that we're watching tonight. Ryan Enlow, second in the points, is starting on the second row in fourth spot. Dustin Reinstedel, who is leading the championship, in fifth. So we have the championship leaders, all the top three championship leaders in the front two rows. Should be an exciting race, Greg. Let's go racing.
Yeah, it should make for an interesting start with the top or four of the top 5 point starters or point holders up there.
So turn one, there's going to be some action. What are some other hot spots on this 2.45 mile Watkins Glen NASCAR circuit?
Well, there's always the bus stop. You have to hit that right, or you're going to go into the gravel. And then coming around, if you count the boot, turn 10, the final turn, the next to last turn by the Jackie Stewart grandstands. You don't hit that one right, you end up in the gravel and you don't get out. So I've always found those two areas to be about the toughest. And you got to be careful going up through the S's because it's a little tight to pass, and that can be some trouble through there too. But I always had trouble in turn 1 and the bus stop. And I guess it's turn 7 on the NASCAR track, but it's the second to last turn by the Jackie Stewart grandstand where I've gone into the gravel many a time.
So the official Wikipedia and NASCAR website have the carousel as turn 5, the Jackie Stewart grandstands as turn 6, and the final turn before the straightaway and the finish line is turn 7. Okay. So that's what I'm going to go with tonight.
Right,
yep. Sorry. So we'll get it worked out together. Lights are off on the pace car, so we're headed down to the last two corners. And we have the top 3 points leaders in the front 2 rows with Justin Thaler in there too. 18 trucks tonight. There's going to be some action. We're looking forward to settling this final road course for season 5 of the Midwest Motorsports trucks. And so does the pace car driver have a name?
I think his name is Stefan. Since it's a road course, we'll give him a fancy F1 sound.
I like it. Congratulations to Bryce Meddings for getting the pole. He's going to bring us to the flag as Barney holds the flag. Bryce goes first across the line in the purple truck. Justin Thaler right behind him looking inside. Can they make it through turn 1, the curbs, and the exit of turn 1?
So far, it looks pretty clean.
Looks great coming up through the S's. 2 wide for third. Justin Thaler and Ryan Enlow. Ryan Enlow looking for some revenge after chasing Dustin Reinstedel around for the last 20 laps. Last week at Auto Club. This week, right up front and onto the front early.
Somebody on the grass recovered there going into the bus stop.
These trucks are pretty tricky to handle. All the weight's up front. So the rears right now, everybody's got real fresh tires. Ryan Enlow looks like he was really wide and slow on the exit of the carousel. 35, the white front with the blue trunk, 35, Ryan Enlow. Gathers it back up, maintains 5th spot. Coming through turn 6, and then turn 7, the right-hander. Big lead now, over a second and a half for Bryce Meddings over Mark Cochran. Justin Thaler 3rd, Dustin Reinstedel 4th, Ryan Enlow 5th, Justin Glockner, your regular season championship leader, missed last week's race. Justin Glockner holding down 6th right now. Back down into turn 1, up through the S's again. So Greg, these trucks, what's going to go first, the rears or the fronts? I know the weight's up front, but the rears tend to really break these trucks loose.
Oh man, that's a technical question that I don't know, but I'm going to say probably the front if all the weight's up there and you got all those turns and everybody's driving pretty hard. Because we got an early stage 1 ends at lap 6, correct?
Correct, lap 6. 30 laps, first stage at 6. Now I think it's a flying stage, so there's no caution. We're not going to stop the race. It's a road course. So I think they're just going to take points at 6 and 12, and then 30 for the finish.
And that's going to play into a lot of strategy with the stops too, if there's no full course cautions.
Right, 30 laps. So you think we can go 15 laps and do 1 stop? As Ryan Enlow inside Dustin Reinstedel going across the line side by side into turn 1. Ryan Enlow on the inside. Dustin Reinstedel, very cool driver. Both of these guys, very professional drivers, been doing it a long time. They know the race is not going to be won on lap 5. Thanks again for calling play-by-play with me, Greg. Feel free to step in anytime. You're part of the club now, so we're just working together, man. It's really nice. I've had the pleasure of calling these races solo up until last week, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm having a great time doing it. Lots of great racing going on. I appreciate the Midwest Motorsports guys having me, but it's a real treat to have you. So you can't do anything wrong with us, Greg. You're part of the family.
All righty. Well, I'm still learning the numbers of all the drivers, so it's going to take me a while before I can check out and see what truck. It's like back 3 years ago in NASCAR, I finally learned all the numbers of drivers of Xfinity and the Cup Series, and then they all changed because that was a crazy off-season, silly season, pretty changing, so I'm still trying to learn all the numbers.
Yeah. That's the fun part of it. A lot of times these guys will change paints on me too. It's fun to just have fun on the fly. Ryan Enlow goes a little bit wide there. Turn 1 might lose a little bit of time. Oh, no, that wasn't Ryan Enlow. That was Mark Cochran. All good. See if maybe we can do the lap around Watkins Glen. Greg, do you want to take us around a lap? If we do an in-car, I'm happy to do it if you... No, let's ride with Josh Watt.
Looks pretty good. They're coming through turn 1, heading up into the S's. Up there on the grass a little bit. Oh, he's spinning.
Oh, the broadcaster's curse.
How about that? He's back on and no traffic around him, so you just got to get back up to speed there and try to make up for some lost ground. Just what I told you, that can be another tricky area right there. You should get real comfortable in the S's, but if you spin or you get out of control, you've got 2 or 3 quick right-hand and left-hand turns coming there. It's kind of hard to recover. He's coming in, going into the bus stop now, right across the grass. Missed the entrance to the bus stop, and he's coming out over the rumble strip on the back, going into the carousel. So just like any road course, if you lose your rhythm, like you just saw there, you spun out a little bit in the S's, lost it in the bus stop, and it takes a long time to get back up. And I've done that, also coming into turn 6 here. You really got to hit that right and hit that first apex, and then bring it all the way out to the rumble strips there, and then set up going into the final turn, coming to the start-finish line, and he looks like he's got it back on there. So good recovery, but very easy to spin out in the S's, and then take almost a half a lap, at least in my experience, to get your rhythm back. There goes into turn 1, spinning a little bit there. And that's the broadcaster's curse. Sorry about that.
Yeah. All apologies, Joshua. It's part of it. It just really truly goes to show that how hard it is to really drive these trucks, even with a little bit of practice. It's not as easy as it looks. A lot of people say that racing cars right on the knife's edge is just like driving in the highways. Quite different. It's just another fine example.
It's totally different, especially trucks on this course. I've always found them to be fun to drive, but like you said, it's like riding on the edge all the time.
Right. That's right. Especially fast. And so it says a lot for the skill of guys like Bryce Meddings, who's out to still over a second lead. Mark Cochran second. Justin Thaler, who we're riding along with now in the cockpit. And yeah, we're back with Justin Thaler in the 00.
We should be coming up to the finish of stage 1. Calculate the points.
Good call.
It'll be shown post-race, correct?
That's right. I'm not sure which points you're looking at, but I believe Sim Racer Hub is the ones that I use, and they only update when the race is finished.
Yeah, that's where I'm.
There's your leader. Yeah, okay, great. If you're not familiar, simracerhub.com. Find the Midwest-Motorsports with an S.com. Simracerhub.com. The league is Midwest-Motorsports.com. And you can go to the truck series and find all the standings and stats. Bryce Meddings in the purple truck, new to the league, wins stage 1 from Melbourne, Australia. How about that?
Yeah, and he's led all 6 laps so far.
And the pole. Here's Justin Glockner. I recognize the 25 Miller light truck. 21 going around. Turn 1. Easy to do, maybe a little wheel hop. I know that happens a lot in real life. I know it happens in iRacing as well. But especially these trucks, if you over rev a downshift or the brake's a little too hard, too long, and lock up the rear, the air pressure in the rear just sends that wheel in a compression, rebound, vibration state.
Be interesting to see how long it takes him to get back into rhythm, or if he's going to have a couple more bumps before he gets back in the groove.
Yeah, right on. Ryan Enlow, again, second in points, trying to get around Justin Thaler. Justin Thaler is 6th in points, so his race for position is legit. Ryan Enlow has the fast lap, purple lap of the race. 1:14.1. 1:14.1. That is hauling the mail.
That for a truck, that's very fast. I have a hard time doing that in the next gen Cup Series car. So that's an impressive lap.
Yeah. Out of the carousel into turn 6. Little bit of banking there. You can carry some speed there. Ryan Enlow keeps it tight on the front straight. Let's see if he can carry more speed. That wall comes up really fast out of turn 7 before they come back on the front straight. I know there's been a lot of pancaked left sides thanks to that safer barrier on the inside. Sideways. Oh, it goes around. I'm not sure if there was contact or not.
I think there was contact. Looked like 35 got a little bit loose on the rumble strips going into turn 1. And I believe there was contact.
Here we go. Great job in the cameras here by Colin Huffman down in the truck. Thanks, Colin. But here's Ryan Enlow getting a little bit sideways, trying not to run loose. Opposite, he's already around. Justin just finishes them off. Not intentionally, of course, but Justin can't disappear or change direction. And around he goes. Ryan Enlow's only lost 3 spots, still in 5th. Justin Thaler carries on as he should. Definitely no intentional spin there. It's just circumstances.
That's a total racing incident there.
Close racing.
Yeah, if your tires aren't good, you go into that final turn and you're trying to pick up speed to get down to the finish line there. That wall does come up very quick.
And it's so important because it's the longest, one of the longer straightaways. So getting the exit just right can really make up some ground.
Yeah, it looks like Dustin Reinstedel is back to P11 right now.
Yeah, he must have had a spin. Yep, he had a 50-second first sector last lap.
Yeah,
so I wonder if we can get a replay of what happened to Dustin.
That's going to shake up the points.
It was sector 1, so I wonder if he came in to get some fuel or, yep, it says pit stop. 7.7 seconds on the pits. So we're seeing strategy play out. Is that lap 8?
Yeah, there's 21 laps to go.
So 8 or 9 he came in.
And with no defined cautions or stage breaks, there's going to be a lot of different strategies, I believe, on tires and fuel.
Do you like the strategy types of races, Greg, or are you more of a fan of re-rack them, throw the caution, and let them go and let it play out and let the...
On road courses, no, because every caution on Watkins Glen, you'll eat up about 5 or 6 minutes of time, and it gets real boring pacing around Watkins Glen. It's worse than Talladega, and Talladega is bad enough on iRacing with the pacing. Seems like it takes 4 minutes.
I'll agree with that 100%.
So yeah, I like the strategies. I like, with a race like this with no defined cautions or stage breaks, someone's spinning out going into
Ryan Enlow again, I believe. It looked... No, Ryan Enlow's in the pits. So it's Justin Thaler this time in the bus stop. And he's with Mark Cochran, maybe? That was for second. Thaler on the inside of the bus stop, just really hard to make a pass there. He spins all on his own, really trying to avoid Mark Cochran. So I give Justin Thaler a lot of credit there for not taking out Mark Cochran. Although he didn't do a lot of good for his own chase race, but he definitely saved some face, at least on the Discord channel this week. That might have not gone the way he wanted to. He had the leaders coming in the pits now.
Yeah, we have at least 4 coming into pits right now.
Yeah, including the leader, Bryce Meddings, Mark Cochran, Justin Thaler, Albert Williams, Ty Williams. Gage Teft is our local blinker. You can always tell which truck is Gage Teft's because it blinks every now and then. And of course, Gage knows we're just ribbing him. Gage is a good driver. He's been with us for a while.
A couple more coming into the pits there.
And remember, Dustin came in a couple of laps early. Where does he come out? Let's see, where does Bryce Meddings, who was the leader? And Dustin was in a...
Reinstedel's P2 now.
Yeah. So nice work. 10 seconds behind Meddings, though. Who?
Coming out of the boot, someone's up.
Mark Cochran hauling the mail through the bus stop. Yeah, Mark Cochran just showing him how to carry speed through the middle of that bus stop and just reels in about 8 truck lengths in that one section. Doesn't get around him, but Mark Cochran definitely showing why he qualified up front. Sorry, Greg, I think I'm getting a little bit of lag on my end, so if I talk over you, it's not on purpose. But Dustin Reinstedel recognizes that he's faster and pulls over and lets Mark go, I'd do the same thing and try to follow him. Maybe you can learn something for the end of this race.
Except for a couple spin outs, there's been no major wrecks so far. It's been a pretty clean run.
Hey, with full credit to the drivers here. These guys know it's the end of the season. Everybody wants a good run. And out of 18 riders, we got 4 that are just a lap down. So only 4 drivers to be 1 lap down is pretty awesome. And as soon as we say something, Ryan Enlow all but avoids hitting the wall. And he's getting a reset here.
Yep, he's in the pits. He must have got some front end damage when he hit that wall.
Another replay of Norm Schneider showing us how to do a loop in turn 1. Very popular place. Checking out the scenery on the inside of turn 1. Here we go again. Brian Hoskins.
Ooh, he hit the barrier. The tire.
Clogging up pit exit. Couple more X's there.
Doesn't appear to be too much damage because he hit the tires.
Should be able to carry on without a full reset. I think everybody gets a quick reset. 1 quick reset. Or a fast reset. Whatever the terminology is.
Quick fix, fast repair.
Thank you.
Here's a number.
All of the above.
Some of them are no crap. Here we go.
So lap 12 is over, just passed, which means Bryce Meddings gets another championship point for winning stage 2.
He's putting on a clinic here. He has not missed a turn.
And I'm showing that this is his very first race with the Midwest Motorsports crew. So I would say he's gearing up for next season already. Look out. There's a new player in town. His name is Bryce Meddings from down under.
He must be on his lunch break because it's about noon down there in Australia.
That works out pretty nice, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's
ahead or behind? Maybe it's noon on a Saturday.
Yeah,
not sure.
14 hours ahead. I was just talking with a gentleman that does iRacing training that might be a guest on the Sim Racing podcast. And he was just getting ready to go to work the other night when I was talking to him because it was like 6 o'clock here and 8 o'clock in the morning down there.
Very nice. That's a perfect segue into a big announcement. I hope everybody is paying attention. Greg Drace is the owner and founder of the Sim Racing podcast on all the streams. We have some big news that we're going to do a podcast. Greg, what do you think? A Midwest Motorsports podcast.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's going to be called the Cool Down Lap. This will be the second league podcast that I do. I just have to make some adjustments on Monday night. The league podcast, the 802 series, that will be done at 7:30 or 7 p.m. if I have a guest. And the Cool Down Lap is going to debut Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So looking forward to that.
A Midwest Motorsports dedicated podcast. Is that right?
Yes, it is. It's going to be called the Cool Down Lap.
What a cool name. I think Justin Thaler came up with that one. So the Cool Down Lap. You got to love it. If you have your cell phone, check the QR code. And that's for the Twitch and the Sim Racing Podcast link. That'll take you to Greg's Sim Racing Podcast Twitch. And from there, you'll have all of his other socials. Monday, 9 o'clock p.m., join the Sim Racing Podcast for the Cool Down Lap. Justin Thaler, Eric Thaler is going to join us. Are you going to have some other guests on the show?
Yeah, I think what they're going to try to do is, since it's Monday night, try to get the winner of the truck race to drop by. So maybe we'll catch the leader here on his lunch break again Monday.
Bryce Meddings from down under. We have to have a translator to translate his Aussie accent for us.
Good day, mate.
Yeah, nice. Well, the race isn't over yet. Don't take the hats to victory lane, as my buddy Chocolate Myers would like to say. Don't take the hats to victory lane until the checkered flag is done.
Exactly. Just barely past waypoint here.
Real excited to have the podcast. Thank you, Greg, for doing it with us. It's going to be great. It's definitely going to be a process to get, dialed in with exactly all we want. But
sure.
Yeah. And thanks again, man. We're glad to have it.
Oh, you're welcome. And what it does, I know for the 802 league that I drive in, they all look forward to it because we go over all the details of the past race, and if I get a guest on, like that drove in the race, they'll talk about their strategies and their plans and how they changed during the past race, and I'll ask them what their plans are for the upcoming race. And it's a good rallying point and a good morale builder, especially when you have a guest on and they tell all their friends and family to listen. Hey, I'm going to be on TV. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Join us Monday night, 9 p.m. And don't forget, if you're interested in the racing with the Midwest Motorsports League, grab your phone. There's another QR code up there. That's the midwest-motorsports.com. Interested in joining us? We have 3 NASCAR series, trucks Friday night, Xfinity Saturday, Sunday's the Cup, and Tuesday night is our road series, dedicated road series, having a couple of recruitment races right now, and then we'll start back up with a new season of road in 2 weeks on Tuesdays, Midwest-Motorsports, or use the QR code on the screen. Let's get a race reset. What do you think? Bryce Meddings, checking out, has led every lap except for the pit lap after winning the pole, both stages. Bryce Meddings from Australia in the Toyota purple truck, riding along with him now. Still the lead. Mark Cochran, second. Justin Thaler, third. Dustin Reinstedel, your points leader, fourth. Gage Teft, fifth. Ty Williams, sixth. Andrew Miller, Justin Glockner, Sean Hapiak, and Kevin Mayer round out your top 10. But second in the series, Ryan Enlow looks like he's given up the ghost. 8 laps down, parked it in pit lane. Frustrating day for Ryan Enlow, but I bet he'll be back next week. Try to do the best he can. So we're still looking at anything happening for the top spots. 2 races to go after this. Seeing a replay here of Norm Snyder getting a view of the outside of turn 1 this time. Saying hi to the spectators.
Ooh, there you get 2 of them that missed the turn into the boot.
Yeah, it's John Asplin. Yeah. What happens there? You're trying to. I know it's kind of hard to see that inside guardrail where the first apex is on the right-hander. Trying to take the curve and then get it just right. The bus stop, you can lose a lot of time, but you can also hit the wall or spin out. So, what's better, to play it cautious or try to attack the bus stop?
I play it cautious, and if my tires are really low or really worn out or if I'm sliding a lot, then I will take it really easy, especially in the trucks. I can do it a little better in the Cup car, but truck is a little tricky because you've got to nail the entrance to the bus stop perfect because it comes so quick. I did a test lap at the IMSA race with the new Toyota Supra, and we were driving coming up that backstretch out of the S's at 142 miles an hour, and then we hit the first turn of the bus stop, and we went from 142 to 85 in what felt like half a second. So it's tricky.
Yeah, Mark Cochran just showed us how to go through there, just perfect. Because he was hauling the mail over 100 miles an hour through the middle of that bus stop. So Mark Cochran definitely showing us how it's done. He's still 7 seconds behind Bryce Meddings. I believe everybody's going to have to stop at least once more. And speaking of, this looks like Mark Cochran taking the time to pit. Justin Glockner and Andrew Miller are still in there now.
Yeah, just 10 laps to go. This race is moving right along.
So 10, 10, and 10 is what I'm seeing from most of these guys. Justin Glockner, regular season points winner, out of the pits. Glad you're back with us, Justin. Riding in the S's up the hill, 4th gear. Let's ride with them through the bus stop. Or not. What happened? Oh, Glockner spin it, coming out of the pits. Freshies getting a little anxious. And we cut back again to Hunter spinning it out.
That was close. That could have been a lot of damage there.
Could have been a T-bone there, I bet. Some cheeks were clenched there. There's Glockner coming out of the carousel now. Going over the curbs. Mark Cochran came into pit. Bryce Meddings stays out. So let's see if Bryce Meddings can put in a couple of laps, or if Mark Cochran, who once again goes through the bus stop faster than anybody else I've seen. He had 7 seconds behind Bryce Meddings when Mark came into pit, excuse me. So let's see if Bryce Meddings stays out. And he did, so Meddings stays out another lap instead of putting fresh tires on. And he's in traffic. We know Bryce Meddings is fast. I think he's coming up on, is that Sean Happick, maybe? Oh, another lapper. Good courteous driving here. You know, that's what we like to see at Midwest Motorsports. I tell you that situational awareness that these guys have is amazing. When you race with everybody in a league, it's much different from the official races in iRacing, right?
Exactly. You get to learn how everybody drives. You jump in an official or an unofficial race on iRacing, you have no clue who you're going to race against.
In the pits, your leader, Bryce Meddings, looking for Mark Cochran. Looks like Albert Williams. I believe he's made his second stop. No, he's not. Albert Williams is going to be your new leader while Bryce Meddings comes to pit. Can he get out? So he gets a short fill, right? He doesn't need as much gas as Mark Cochran did. Might be able to save a little time. We got a lockup coming in the pits. Ty Williams.
So you got Cochran in third.
Yep.
First, Reinstedel in 5th. Doesn't look like if they stay like that, it's not going to shake up the point total too much. A couple people.
Good point. Good point. Here's the race for today's win, though. Bryce Meddings is out of the pits. Where's Mark Cochran? We're looking for a blue camouflage truck. There he is. Just now coming into one. So Bryce Meddings hedged his bet. Has fresh tires on now. Let's see if we can get some heat in them. Staying out of traffic. A little bit of traffic ahead, but we got 12 seconds back to Mark Cochran. So Bryce Meddings put in some flyers.
Look how smooth he is going through the bus stop. That's picture perfect.
This is not his first day in the truck at Watkins Glen, I'm going to take a guess.
No, it's not. That's one of the favorite road courses on iRacing.
Kudos to Mark Cochran and Justin Taylor. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's one of the most favorite tracks on iRacing, I believe.
Roger. Now we see why. Lots of action, not easy, just enough of a challenge to make you want to come back for more. Even when you do bad, it's still a lot of fun.
Well, for a while.
It can be.
Yep, it can be gruesome. It's just one of those tracks where you're on point or you're not. There's no middle ground on Watkins Glen. Because I think people take it a little too lightly. It's just got a couple technical points on it, a couple technical turns, and those are the places that can mess you up pretty bad. The bus stop being one of them, and I think turn 6 being the other one, where you've really got to be on point when you're coming into them.
100%. Full commitment. Mark Cochran's taken 2 seconds off of Bryce's outlap. And yeah, don't look now. Justin Thaler and Dustin Reinstedel pretty close for 3rd and 4th. There they are. Dustin Reinstedel in the 11. Looking at him. This is a track racer plug if you want to need to upgrade your sim gear, your sim rig, maybe a monitor stand. Track racer. Got some great aluminum rigs. There's a QR code for it. Midwest Motorsports gets a little kudos for doing that. So if you're in the market for any of that, we'd appreciate it. Scan the QR code. Take you right to trackracer.com. Dustin Reinstedel, 5 seconds behind Thaler. Sorry, Greg, go ahead.
Is anybody going to get aggressive when they come to 5 laps to go? It is certainly go time right now.
Now or never. Closest battle. Looks like Justin Thaler. It's Gage Teft behind Dustin Reinstedel. That's a battle under a second. So the blinker, Gage Teft in the green truck, and the 11 truck, Dustin Reinstedel. Trying to find Gage 15th in points, so not in the chase, but still very competitive racer. I've seen Gage in the front. We've interviewed him after a couple of wins this season. But don't forget, Dustin Reinstedel in the 11 truck is the points leader. 4 wins on the season, 4 poles, 5 top 10s. That's what it takes to get a championship. Following her now with the chopper cam.
Looks like the biggest change in the point standings will be Ryan Enlow since he dropped out early.
Oh. Yeah, that's going to hurt. I hate it for him. Ryan Enlow was having a really good run, and I think he gave up a little bit early today, but you never know. If you're not feeling it, you're just not feeling it. Sometimes life happens. You don't get as much practice as you wish, but you know, that's why we run the race. Justin Thaler with the fast lap of the race, 13:90.988. Looks like he might have gotten around Mark Cochran there.
It's a very good time.
Like you said, it's go time. Justin Thaler, 11 seconds behind Bryce Meddings. Is there enough time in 4 laps? There's Mark Cochran.
Meddings is going to have to really miss a turn, or somebody run into him, or he's going to run into traffic. I think that's the only way he's going to lose this race.
I agree. But, you know, the nerves when you're at first race. Oh, looks like Gage Teft is getting around Dustin Reinstedel. The carousel there. Dustin might have not wanted a net code or interference with Gage blinking like that. Just let him go and not blow his championship standing. But we know that Justin Thaler also in the top, 5 of the points. He's going to gain some points. So Dustin Reinstedel can't afford to lose too many points that way.
No, that's true.
But, again, back to the leader, Bryce Meddings, first race with the league. Do nerves settle in? I don't think this guy's got any nerve issues because he's definitely, between the pole leading almost the whole race, every lap. I don't think the nerves are going to get the best of him, but 3
Nope.
laps to go, you start hearing different sounds that you haven't heard all race, or seeing different things, or focusing on things, right?
Yep, that's when your spotter tells you to drive your race, hit your points, hit your marks. I would rather, if I'm going to win a race, I would rather be in second or third for most of the race instead of having to look in my mirror.
Therefore, I hear you on that. Would you rather have an 8-second lead or a 8-second gap to chase?
Well, if it's going to be a big lead, I'd rather have an 8-second lead, yeah.
There you go.
Comfortable cushion. Anything less than that, it's just because you're driving out of both ends of the car because you've got to look forward for in front of you for traffic, and then you're always checking that rear view mirror for someone that's going to sneak up on you. And it also makes it very difficult to go into the pits when you have to, when you've got a decent lead and you've been leading the whole race.
Yeah. Well, the whole race, every lap, Bryce Medding's nerves of steel. Maybe we'll get to talk to him after the race and introduce him to the Midwest Motorsports Club of winners. So on the Discord, everybody that wins gets a checkered flag at the end of their name. So every time they post, they have a checkered flag, and then number 2 or number 3 or number 4, depending on how many wins they have. So looks like 1 lap to go after this.
Every single bar he is hitting perfection.
Cool helmet paint there. Spend a lot of time. You can tell a lot about how much time they spend in their sim rig by their paints.
And he should get the white flag as he comes down the stretch towards the line. White flag's out.
He's waving the white flag. Mark Cochran in third. Gage Teft of 5 seconds back, but Mark Cochran only a second behind Thaler. The gap now down to 7 seconds.
Ryan Stettles dropped to 5th. So I believe Ryan Stettles still safe for the points lead, unless something really bad happens on this last lap for him.
He'll be happy to hear that. Right now, let's go to the Southern Hemisphere. Let's go to the land down under. Bryce Meddings coming around turn 6 for the final time. Hands out, waving to the crowd. On the radio saying, boys, grab the hats. I'll meet you at Victory Lane. Coming around turn 7 for the final time. Barney waving the checkered flag for Bryce Meddings. His Midwest Motorsports debut is a victory. Congratulations to Bryce Meddings.
As they say, and I hate the cliche, but he put on a clinic.
He put on a clinic. Take notes, everybody. We're going to be seeing this guy more often. Justin Thaler crosses the line finally. For second place, Mark Cochran brings home a solid 3rd place. Congrats to him. Mark gives Justin a little bump there, saying hello. Gage Teft 4th, Dustin Reinstedel 5th, Ty Williams 6th, Justin Glockner 7th, Andrew Miller 8th. What a race, man. That was pretty exciting trucks. We had some spinners. We had some side-by-side racing. We announced a podcast. Greg, it's a pretty exciting day. What do you think?
I think it's been a great day, and I don't know if you saw when Redding came out of the carousel, he either passed somebody that was spinning or somebody spun right behind him. So like we were talking, something happened, and he was somewhere, it looked like in the neighborhood of somebody spinning out was coming around the carousel there.
Here we go. Let's see if Colin found the replay for us. Here he is. Oh, so many straight shots. John Aslin, I believe. Robert Olofsson. There's Robert Olofsson. Straight shot to the bus stop and then does a little tank slapper on the last lap for us.
Yep.
Robert Olofsson just having a little fun, testing the force feedback on his rig, maybe. But yeah, let's talk about Bryce Meddings doing donuts down to victory lane. Like you say, put on a clinic, show us how it's done. Congratulations to him.
I didn't see him make one error that entire race.
No, he was flawless. He went for the overcut, stayed out 2 or 3 laps longer so he could short fill. There's your final results. Australia flag up top. Hopefully somebody can tell Bryce Meddings to get in the voice chat, and then we can bring him down into the broadcast booth. But in the meantime, let's see if we can reset points. No, it must be a little early.
Yeah, I don't have them updated on my end yet either.
Yeah, they're not yet. So we are at Dover International Speedway next week for 98 laps at Dover. That's a fun track.
Yes,
Same time, qualifying starts at 9:55. You like Dover, Greg?
Yeah, I like Dover. I've been down to the track a couple times, and it's just interesting that even how highly banked the straightaways are. It's a pretty interesting track. So looking forward to that. And then the week after, I'm going to be up in Loudon, Maine at New England Motor Speedway, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, up there with my son photographing motorcycle races for that weekend. So I will be here next week, but 2 weeks from now, I will not be on the broadcast. So just giving you a heads up.
No worries. No worries. Thanks a lot. We'll take care of Nashville on our side. For that will be the championship. But we had a new guy tonight come into Midwest Motorsports. His name is Bryce Meddings. He's from Australia, and he's with us in the booth. Congratulations, Bryce, on your first win with the Midwest Motorsports trucks. How'd it go out there?
Oh yeah, thank you. It was a good race. Everyone around was really clean. Everyone just drove really well. It was a strategy that kind of didn't have to take tires for the 30 laps we did. So once I committed to that, I kind of had to stick with it as well, because if I wanted to take tires later in the race, it wouldn't have played out too well. But I'm glad I managed to keep them relatively on pace and not too worn, and got to the end.
Well, as we were saying on the broadcast, it obviously wasn't the first time you raced at Watkins. We're just watching everything you hit with precision. How often do you race at the Glen?
This week's been pretty heavy on the Glen. I started off Tuesday night with the Xfinity car here, then the Cup Series on Wednesday night that I run in, and finished off with a in the trucks. So I do a lot of Glen in the prototypes as well. A lot of road course racing. That's where I kind of started. I only just really started getting into the oval cars. So hitting that with prototypes is, you got to hit it right. Otherwise you don't. You got to commit fully. Otherwise you don't. So that's where I've managed to pick up that, and moved over to a triple screen so I can see that wall every time I go by it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to touch that one now. Whereas when I was on a single monitor, it was kind of like, just, once it's out of my sight, just pray I don't hit it. But a whole different kettlefish now.
Yes, it is. Well, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did it, Bryce. Are you going to join us for more truck racing in the Midwest Motorsports League in the future?
Yes, I will. I got into the season late. One of my teammates linked the league late on in the season. I'm like, oh, I would have run that. I've got for us it's Saturday morning, so I'm like, I got Saturday mornings free. I don't play football on Saturdays, so come out, do a bit of racing. Always want to get into the NASCAR side of iRacing anyway, so I'll definitely be back next season. I'm kind of intruding on the guys' run to the championship, but well,
Not at all. Not at all, man. That's we're glad to have you. You definitely put on a show tonight. Pole position, all both stages, and the race win on the same set of tires, I might add. So just great strategy. You knew what you were getting into coming in, and just welcome to Midwest Motorsports. We're glad to have you.
thank you. It's good to be here, and I'm excited to do more racing going forward.
All right, that's it. We'll see you next week. For James J, Greg Drace. Greg, thanks again for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing everybody back same time, same channel next week. You want to sign us off, Greg?
Yep, this has been Midwest Motorsports Truck Series live from Watkins, Glen, with Bryce Meddings from down under, his very first race with the league, and he shows everybody that Australians know how to drive American road courses, and we should be scared. Thanks for tuning in, and join us Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, for the debut episode of the Cool Down Lap. That's the official podcast of the Midwest Motorsports. We'll be live on Twitch, and later on, audio will be uploaded to all the major podcast platforms, as well as the video and audio to YouTube. Thanks for having me on. This has been a blast, and we will see you next Friday night. Same time, same bat channel, as they say. Good night.
Good night, everybody.